How's it? Indian Cowboy, DocSports.com. Coming at you on Mondays, we get this video to you around this time. Starbucks Espresso, man. Great stuff. Hope you guys are doing well. This is going to be a short video. And obviously, there's no sports today, except for the Jamaica-Suriname game later on today. But outside of that, there really is no sports today. It's always funny, right? The day before the All-Star game and the day after the All-Star game is the slowest sports time during the year, in particular the day before the All-Star game, which is nice. That's a nice part of July before August kicks up with preseason football and so forth. But what I do want to talk to you about today is a theory that I've always believed in called the active dog over. It is the IC theory. It has become relatively popular in the industry, used by lots of people, which it's perfectly fine if people use my theories and my algorithms and stuff. I'm not one of these people that's that's like, oh, it's about me or something. No, I want everybody to do well. I'm happy to share information, no issues. So, but it's by the way, a nice 7-unit winner in the WNBA. Before I forget, Chicago over the posted total with Vegas. 4 straight winning days in the WNBA. We will have an all-star selection. We're trying to make it 5 straight. Baseball, I have no earthly idea how Arizona plus 1.5 ended up losing. That's a game that it's silly, right? We were up 4-1 going into the bottom of the 8th inning. They scored 3 runs. They made it 4-4, and then if the Dodgers are going to win, that's fine. And then Muncy hits a 3-run shot to make it 7-4 when all he needed was a single. So I have no idea. Plus, we were getting a run and a half too. On top of that, it's just like if it's a single or even if he hits a double, the game ends right there. What do you say? It's 4-4. The next run wins. And the only thing that we can avoid is a home run. And the guy hits a home run. And it's like unbelievable. But we should have won both 7 stars. We won with the 7-star WNBA. I can tell you that I do think we have a shot at our 5th straight winning year at the WNBA. It's really hard to win 1 year in the WNBA. And winning 4 straight years in the WNBA is really hard. And it's hard to win in baseball. We had won 4 straight years in baseball. And this year hasn't been that great for us in baseball. But nice winner in the NBA playoffs on a 4-unit selection on the Bucks and Suns under. I will tell you this, we are going to go on a big run in baseball. I don't know how big it's going to be, but it's going to be a good run, and I'm looking forward to that. So as it relates to soccer, the Euros are plus 700. We took a push on the over 2 in the England contest, so looking forward to NBA today, looking forward to, or tomorrow, the MLB All-Star Game. I think we won the last 3 All-Star Games, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see what we can do. Looking forward to soccer, looking forward to NBA, WNBA, baseball. WNBA will be on a little bit of a break for a few weeks, but they'll be back soon. The Korean baseball is about a week away as well. So a lot of baseball coming up at you, and then Korean baseball will come back in about a week. And then obviously soccer goes throughout the year. So a lot of baseball and soccer coming at you. And then, WNBA will be back early August, and then that'll be exciting stuff. And, of course, then when football's back, football, that's when it'll be super exciting. All right, so baseball, NBA, soccer, WNBA, MMA, and Korean baseball. All right, I want you to go back and look at Sunday's WNBA games, and I want you to look back. This is where we get to the teaching moment of the video. There's no videos today, but the video here is just as good as any free plays, and it might be even more important because you can use it throughout the year and in many years to come. Okay, this is the IC active dog over theory, which I'm going to explain to you. Okay, it doesn't always work, but I believe in the dog over and I believe in the favored under. It's something that has been prevalent in the industry. People have widely used it, and it came from the theory that I created about 15 years ago, called the IC active dog theory. And the favored under theory, right? It doesn't always work, and some teams are exempt from the rule, but it's a general basic principle, okay? If you go on July 11th and look at all the WNBA games, what happened? I told you Vegas was going to be an active dog. The game went over. Every time an underdog is expected to do well or does better than expected, the game has a tendency to go over. But maybe you want to hold your nose and not take that dog. One of the safest things you can do is you can take the over. If a game is set at 40 points and the Cowboys are favored by 10 over the Browns, the expected score is 25-15, okay? But what if the Browns, this is their Super Bowl, they hadn't won a game all year and they get up to face the Cowboys, and the Cowboys, let's say, have the Patriots on deck when the Patriots are good. They were looking ahead to a really good team, right? So they don't take the Browns seriously, right? So then what happens? You can take the Cowboys, you take any horrible, take any great, take the 90s Cowboys and the 90s Browns, right? So what happens? So the Cowboys overlook them, so they don't show up as much, right? So what happens is the Browns, instead of scoring 15, score 25 or 22, and the Cowboys, the big dog, is going to eat in the second half, and they're going to come back. So instead of being like this, the underdog does a little bit better than expected, then the favorite's got to catch up, and that's what tips the game over. Las Vegas, +3 dog to Dallas, game goes over, right? Well, let me not start with that. Las Vegas was the favorite, but there's a difference in that game because Liz Cambage didn't play, and Las Vegas had scored 67 points the previous game. So take that major injury out, and Liz Cambage is probably the best person on the team. All right, but go to Connecticut or New York. Connecticut, the favorite wins. The game goes under, which I told you. I said Connecticut's probably, Connecticut was playing really well, though New York was looking to try to cover as a dog, but it went favorite and under. Indiana, Atlanta, right? Then you had Phoenix and Seattle, right? You have Phoenix there. You have the favorite. I think Seattle started off at 8, possibly, and then it moved up to 9. I'll try to give you another example here. You can take Minnesota and LA. Minnesota, the favorite, wins, and the game goes under the posted total, right? You can go with the NBA game, for example. I said that the Bucks are probably going to win, but I couldn't hold. I kind of held my nose because I was really worried because Phoenix had won the first 2 games, but it went favorite and under. So in a very similar way, the final score is 120 to 100, and the game went under the posted total. I want you to traditionally look for situations like this. Typically, it goes favorite and under and dog and over, but if you cannot fathom to take the favorite, like the Bucks, take the under, which is what happened. If you cannot fathom to take the dog, then take the over, and that's something that could work to your benefit. Okay, I'll try to find you a situation where the dog did well and the game went over. And historically, this has hit about 57% of the time since I have tracked it for the last 15 years. Now, you can use it to your benefit from that point onwards, but typically the dog doing well does send games over. Look at July 10th, Washington, right? I told you Washington was going to do well, but I couldn't fathom to take Washington. And the game ended up going over, for example. But even if that wasn't for the overtime as well, I'll try to give you another example where the dog ended up doing well, and maybe the game went over the posted total. And again, you have to have a reason for the dog to do well, too. Okay, you can't just be, I think the dog's going to do well. I'll give you an example. Phoenix and Las Vegas, for example. Back on July 7th in the WNBA, Phoenix was a good active dog, right? And the game went over the posted total. I said Phoenix was going to really show up today. And they did. They were plus 9.5. Tarazi came back, and they were a good active dog, and the game went over. Okay? So if you track this historically, this is what can traditionally happen. The IC theory is the dog goes over, the dog is active, it'll send the game over, and the favorite, typically, if the favorite expected to do well, look at the under. It's just something for you to look at in future days to come. It works especially for college basketball, NBA, WNBA, or football as well. Hope that was helpful. We'll see you back here tomorrow. There are some teams that are exceptions. The Ben Wallace Pistons teams, right? When they were active dogs, games went under. The Miami Heat, when they're active dogs against over 500 teams, games go under. They step up on defense against elite teams. There are certain teams with the exceptions, but this is my general rule that I use a lot. Hope that was helpful. I'll see you back here tomorrow with another tip, or a lean on the baseball total, for example. I'll see you back here tomorrow.